Hi, good evening, Beth. Thank you for having me back on the program. No doubt we actually are seeing that this military drills is actually happening around Taiwan for the past over the weekend. But what is interesting as compared to the previous military drills that we saw one in April, which happened right after President Taiwan met with House Speaker McCarthy, is that the scale is actually not as big as it was as compared to April. Just to give everyone just a real brief, is that in April, the Chinese were actually very clear to say that the military drill will be happening for 3 days, and it will be surrounding Taiwan, basically essentially a blockade. But as compared to this time, they actually said that they are going to hold this drill on Saturday. But there wasn't a time frame as to how long will the drill be, and it is more focused on the northern and the southwest part of the waters around Taiwan. But we are actually seeing more other forms of coercion, not only military drills. Just today, the PRC has announced that they will ban the import of Taiwanese mangoes. So this is also an increase and quite a common tactic of economic coercion against Taiwan. But I would say that people in Taiwan are quite pretty used to this. But what is surprising is that because what we know is that the Vice President Lai Ching-te or William Lai, when he actually made a stopover in the United States, he actually maintained a relatively low profile as compared to the previous visits, let's say when President Tsai actually traveled to the US in April. And also, even though that the current VP is actually comparatively maintaining a low profile, but no doubt it has continued to anger the Chinese.
Yeah, because they've been saying that he's a separatist, he's a troublemaker, that this will not be tolerated, this sort of notion of separatism. Do you feel this is just rhetoric, or do you think this is, again, to your point about coercion, trying to really bully the Taiwanese into accepting the fact that China sees them as part of their territory?
I mean, I see this on two separate levels. One thing is that we will need to focus on how Vice President William Lai is like a person. Previously there's a track record of previous rhetorics coming from him when he was actually the premier of Taiwan. People actually see him that when he actually speak publicly that he is actually for more Taiwanese independence, So no doubt with that track record, it will continue to anger the Chinese, And no doubt currently he's actually the front runner in the upcoming elections that's going to be happen in January 2024, which is in just less than a few months. But one thing is that the Chinese has actually pointed out in a recent Bloomberg interview that William Lai gave just before he traveled to Paraguay, having a stop over the US. But what is interesting is that VP Lai actually maintained the position that is actually previously stated by President Tsai Ing-wen, which is actually that the Republic of China, Taiwan, which is actually a term, which is to maintain a status quo. And he actually mentioned that Republic of China, Taiwan is not going to seek independence because we are currently a sovereign. And also, this is actually maintaining what President Tsai said over the past many years. Even with him maintaining such a position, the PRC felt that it is still something that they can't buy in. So no doubt that's why they actually held this military drill. And I think more on a bigger level is that the Chinese actually chose to host this military drill. It's actually just one day after the summit, the Washington summit, where the leaders, Biden met with the PM, the Japanese Prime Minister, and also the South Korean President. So I would say that it is not only against Taiwan, but it's also to send a message to Washington, D.C.
Yes, indeed. The fact that the Vice President is also the front runner for that election, as you point out, is that an indication of how people in Taiwan feel going forward, do you think?
I think it has actually to do with more domestic politics because currently we are not seeing what traditionally is like a race between two parties. Currently there are three leaders trying to run for this presidential election. So no doubt with that, votes is no doubt going to be scattered across the board in that sense. And with the current ruling party in Taiwan, they have a pretty strong base, and no doubt if they are going to maintain at least, let's say, a 35 to 36% support throughout the next few months, the polls are actually showing that they might have a pretty high percentage of probably going to stay in power. But this is it is still to see how the opposition are trying to collaborate and see if that whether there could be a change in Taiwan, because no doubt Taiwan is a democracy.
Indeed. Good to have you on as always. Thanks so much.
Thank you.